In terms of same-sex or gay marriage, I also believe that it's squarely and only between a man and a woman, and without question that there is no need for anything other than a man and a woman to be recognized as marriage anywhere in the United States. When it comes to abortion, it's a personal, very, very difficult issue for myself. I've been a lifelong Catholic. I've been baptized and everything else like that. I go to Mass every single week. I was an altar boy at St. Cyril's in Alexandria Bay for 7 years of my life. But when it comes to government, in terms of the coercive power of the government, like as we talked about before, I believe in freedom. So look, I am for the first trimester, and I believe in the woman's right to choose. But look, in terms of what does that mean? Like, number one, I'm squarely 100% against any government funding for abortion whatsoever. Number two, I'm 100% squarely against any partial birth abortion whatsoever. And finally, I believe in all kinds of restrictions, not the least of which is parental notification. Like, family has always been the cornerstone of my life. The reason I'm here before you is because I had two tremendous parents. And so I believe in family, and I believe in the sanctity of family. I believe in the individual's choice. Hopefully it'll be the right one. But look, at the end of the day, I will, as your congressman, will never vote to provide government funding of abortion. We'll be an adamant stalwart against partial birth abortion, and we'll have basic, sensible restrictions, including parental notification. Thank you.
Mr. Hopkins, please one on this one. This question includes an editorial comment, but I'm going to allow it. We all know that Bill Owens sold his vote to Nancy Pelosi. If you are elected, how do we know that you will vote independently and for what is in the best interest of the United States?
Well, I think the fact that I'm here today is because I'm sick and tired of politicians and lawyers running this country. As an average citizen and listening to these people telling us what they're going to do and then getting elected and doing the opposite has to stop. I can assure you, as your congressman, I'm going to represent the people of the 23rd District, and I'm going to do what I said, and I'm going to do it well. I'm going to represent the people, and I'm going to carry your thoughts and ideals to Washington, and that's how I'm going to vote. And I will not turn my back on you because I work for you. I understand that. Some of these politicians, and there are good politicians that do their job, and I think we have one sitting right here, but we have politicians that are more concerned with their career, more concerned about getting re-elected than they are representing you. It's their job, they think. They have it backwards, though. Their job is to represent you. Their job is to keep their word and to make sure that they carry your will to Washington, and I will do that.
Thank you. Here's the question. We all know that Bill Owens sold his vote to Nancy Pelosi. If you're elected, how do we know that you will vote independently and do what's in the best interest of the United States?
Thank you. Great question. I don't need the job. Anybody who wants to have, this is a crowning achievement of their political career, they need the job. They want the job. I simply do not need it. It's not going to be financially beneficial. It's not going to make my life better. It's none of that. Do not need the job whatsoever. My only job is to represent each and every single one of you, from Shazy to Messina down to Cazenovia to north of Johnstown and back. That is my job. Look, but you know what? At the end of the day, everyone's going to tell you that. So how do we correct the system so that you don't have to listen to myself or other people around the country that? The answer is very simple, folks. Term limits. Term limits, term limits, term limits. The length of term limits, we can go ahead and you guys can tell me whether it's 8 years, 12 years, whatever. Like, we have eight years for the President of the United States, the most important office on earth, to say that some congressman, whether it's from the 21st District in Texas or the 23rd District in New York, it's absolutely term limits. But you know what? If that's such a good idea, let's go ahead and finish the job. That's only get you past the 50-yard line, to use the football analogy. Two things. Let's cut congressional salaries. How about in this time of economic hardship? Let's cut 10 to 20% of congressional salaries. And then if that doesn't get me, locked out of the cloakroom when I get elected to represent you guys down in D.C., the last thing is definitely going to never let me in the House, Jim, or even on the floor. getting rid of the defined benefit congressional system. Cut pensions for these people. It's simple as that. So look, you can hear right there. I'm going to be a stalwart for you guys in Congress as long as you guys want to send me. But look, we need to have term limits. Let's do some sensible economic things as a businessman, a common sense businessman. Cut congressional pay. They're not doing a very good job anyways. Cut the pay and get rid of the pension. And all of a sudden, you don't need to ask me those questions anymore. The system will take care of itself. Thank you.
I forgot the question. I got about 150 cards up here, guys.
Doing a great job.
How do we know you're going to vote independently and in the best interest of the United States?
Well, unfortunately, being the only one elected here, I've got a record. And I think if you ask anybody in the Tupper Lake area, the Santa Clara area, and by the way, I represent some of the poorest people in the North Country, and I represent some of the richest. And I've listened to all of them, but I've done what I thought was always right for the majority of them. I've been criticized, not by this paper on this particular issue, the Plattsburgh paper, but the Saranac Enterprise has criticized me time and time and again for trying to move ahead with the Adirondack Mountain Club in Tupper Lake, the big Tupper Ski Center, because there were some negotiations that had to be done in executive session. They said I was trying to hide behind that, and I shouldn't have done that. But without doing that, we probably wouldn't have moved this process along. So I have a record. I'm going to go to Washington, if you folks elect me, the people in the 23rd District, and do what I think is right, fair for all of you. I won't, there goes the phone, it's not a fire drill or anything, it's my cell phone. But, and I think that, I'll turn it off in a second, I should have turned it off before.
Want me to answer?
But anyway, I think when you have a record, you've got three good people up here who want to go down, and I think that all three of us are going to represent you well in Congress. Thank you.
Let me know if it's Bill Owens. Doug, go ahead. Oh, new question, sorry. I've got about 5 or 6 varieties of this, so I'll try to edit it out a little bit. It has to do with entitlement programs, and as we all know, right now, our unfunded liabilities, Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, the drug prescription program, and who knows about the health care plan. Now, the difference between what we were going to collect versus what we're going to have to pay out, over $110 trillion. It's an amount well over 10 times the size of the United States economy. What are you going to do about these entitlement programs that seem to have us on the road toward